Good morning. Kalimera. Wonderful to see so many people here on a Saturday morning, and of course we welcome those who are worshiping with us online this morning. The gospel lesson, the image that Christ paints when he quotes what David did, is very, very powerful. We know that, most of us know anyway, that on the altar table we have the tabernacle, and inside the tabernacle is the body and blood of Christ, Holy Communion. And we know that the Holy Communion retains its chemical properties of bread and wine. And thus, if you ate a lot of communion, you would be nourished and satisfied if you were starving. And Jesus makes the point that David went into the temple, basically akin to coming into this temple, and he went into the Holy of Holies, and he ate the bread of the presence, which is not lawful for anybody to eat but the priests. And Jesus said that was okay because it was better to do that than for him to starve to death. So he makes a point, and there's really one point to take away from the gospel lesson today. It is never wrong to do the right thing. It's never wrong to love somebody. It is never wrong to help somebody. There are things in our life where there's sort of a gray area, like, well, under this circumstance, like for instance, it's not right to speed on the road. But if you had someone in your car who was about to give birth, or who was in medical distress, maybe you would stretch and say, well, we're gonna go outside the boundaries this time, this gray area. There are other things in our life that are black and white, like we don't do this, it's totally wrong. And Jesus says, for emphasis, it's never wrong to help somebody. The Jews had a law that you were not allowed to work on the Sabbath day. You were not allowed to do any kind of work. And that was a law. And there's some good reason for that law. We would do well to follow that law, in the sense of not occupying ourselves with work today, to worship and then to go enjoy a day of rest with your family. Jesus didn't say, I suggest you take a week off. God says take a day. God didn't say, I suggest you take a day off every week. He said, take a day off every week from work in order to rest and rejuvenate. And Jesus on this Sabbath day was presented with a man who had a withered hand, who had a crippled hand. And Jesus said, I want to heal this man on this day. And so he healed him. And everyone said, no, that's wrong. That's work. You're not allowed to do that on the Sabbath. That is work. To heal somebody, that is work. And Jesus basically is telling us it is not unlawful to help somebody on the Sabbath, even if it involves work. It's not unlawful to help somebody, anybody, when they need help. There's no law that says we cannot love another person. And there never will be a law that says we cannot love another person. Because this is a basic thing to human beings. And it's one of the two basic commandments of God. Love God and love one another, and do that all the time. It's never wrong to do that. Thank you for being here this morning on this Sabbath day. Tomorrow is Kyriaki, the day of the Lord, and during the pandemic we're celebrating services on both days. It actually was a tradition of the church up until about 200 years ago that liturgy was celebrated every Saturday. And Saturday was known as the day of those who have passed away. Memorial services were commonly done on Saturdays, because this was the day that Jesus laid in the tomb. And then Sunday we did liturgy to commemorate him rising from the dead. So what we're doing here is not just something new for the pandemic, but it's actually something that goes to the historical church, that we spend this day also, in addition to Sunday, honoring the Lord with the celebration of the divine liturgy. Please stand.